I don't want to wait for a firmware update. So let's upgrade. This is the 3000 megabits per second, while this is the 15,000 megabits per second. I do hope this works. Fortunately, you only get 12,000 megabytes per second using this router. You don't get the 2,400 that I was hoping for. One thing that's always been bothering me with that entire process of trying to fix the Quest 3, I did try to upgrade my TP-Link extender, which was the first thing I tried when trying to fix the Quest. It still showed me 1200 megabits per second in the speed. And that's been bothering me ever since I managed to solve and understand how the Quest 3 works, because you should be able to get 2401 megabits per second using a 5 gigahertz network as long as it's running in 160 hertz. It annoyed me so much that that unit, which I actually sold, I bought back a used one because I really want to retest it and see why the hell couldn't I get that thing to run at full speed on this headset. I've set this up again, which you can follow the guide on my other video on how to do. If you go into more here, you can see that it's still running. It's running at the actions point mode. And if you go into Wi-Fi, you should normally be able to go into Wi-Fi here and adjust in advance, like the speed and the channel width and stuff like that. But you don't get that option in the app. If I go into the advanced option on my normal Wi-Fi, you can tell here that I can actually select the width of the channel length and how fast this network should run at. But on this extender, you really don't have that option. But to override the speed of this access point, you actually need to use the web client. First of all, open the command prompt. Here, we're going to write ipconfig. So we're just going to simply mark the default gateway and right click. That will actually put it on our clipboard. Then we're going to go into Chrome or any web browser, and we're going to type in http:// and then paste in that IP address. And that should bring you to this page here. Put in our password, which you made when you created your network using the app. This is actually what we used to before we actually got these fancy apps. But this page is actually for my main Archer BE550, which is not the router I want to manipulate. What we need to do is to find the IP address for my access point over there. And to find that, we're actually going to go into clients right here, which is going to give me a list of all my devices that are connected to the router. On the drop down, I can select wired. So I just get the wired devices that are not using a wireless network. Here we can see my Archer, which I use normally as my access point for VR, but I also have the RE705X, which is the TP extender that I've set up as an access point. What I need to do is get that IP address that it uses. I know this is getting complicated and sort of convoluting, but that's what's annoying about this, because this should be in the app. Seriously. I'm just going to open a new tab here, and I'm going to go http:// and then we're going to paste in that IP this time, which just gives us to this new TP-Link login here. So here we go. We have now this page, which is just dedicated to that access point. And now if we press on wireless and wireless settings, we can see that the 2 gigahertz is disabled. And this is the 5 gigahertz, which looks like this. Look at all the different options that you suddenly have available here that you don't have in the app. What we're going to do is go channel width, which is set to auto. If you click that, you get this little drop down, and now you can actually fix it to 160 megahertz. And you'll get this warning. The channel width and channel you've selected will overlap with the DFS channels. This will require some waiting time to meet regulatory radar detection requirements. This will also explain why a lot of you have had problems connecting to an access point with 6G or 5G, because you actually need to wait for a second for the headset to actually detect it. Once you connect it, it's no problem at all. Just press save, and I'll promise you, once you've rebooted and connected to your Quest, this will have that 2401 megabit per second that we've always wanted. As you can see here, we are now at 2401 megabit per second on the 5 gigahertz channel connected to this little guy. There's nothing wrong with this setup at all, no. And it's running completely solid. And that little guy would probably set you back about $90, which is one of the cheaper options, but you do have to jump through a few hoops to actually get it to work optimally. But there you have it. This thing has been nagging me in the back of my mind for 2 years now, and I finally just bought it back just to test this and figured out I was right. You actually can run this at full speed. You just have to do some extra tweaks, and then you get it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll talk to you later.